Greetings comrades, my name is Styx and this is Spontaneous Lore, the series of videos I'm making twice a week telling you the stories of various characters from books, games or comics. Today I'd like to tell you about Triss Merigold, who had been one of the central characters in the first two Witcher games, as well as being a sorceress, the lover of Geralt and simply a red-haired beauty. And to begin with, I'd like to tell you how young girls become sorceresses in the world of Witcher. All people are born different, some in rich families, others in poor, some are gifted with beauty, and others are not. If a young girl is beautiful enough, her parents cherish and raise her in love, hoping to marry their scion to some rich noble folk someday. But if the girl has any serious flaws in her appearance, like a big nose, crossed eyes or a hump, then it is crystal clear that none of the rich will take her as a wife. And so, the parents often give such child to the School of Magic, as it is the only reasonable choice for them to become successful. In these schools, children are first tested whether they are capable of learning the art of magic, and if so, they are accepted as students, and their appearance gets eventually fixed by some mysterious magical methods, transforming former freaks into stunningly beautiful women. In other words, there is hardly any sorceress who had been beautiful since her birth, and all of their well-known beauty is nothing more than a result of magical manipulations and tricks. By the way, sorceresses don't age at all, which makes it even easier to be fooled by their appearance, and it may often be a surprise when one discovers that Yennefer, for example, is about 100 years old. Triss Merigold, on the other hand, is one of the youngest sorceresses out there, but her age remains unknown for us still. Her personality, due to her youth, is quite bright, and she's written as a cheerful and easygoing character, though in the first two games this fact is shown quite poorly if at all, and she's way more serious than she should be based on what's said in the books. However, this may be explained that in the first two games, Yennefer is not present, and Triss kinda plays her role there. She and Yennefer are indeed good friends, yet by the reason of Yen being jealous about Triss and Geralt, Merigold often finds herself listening to the not-so-pleasant things from the black-haired sorceress. However, Triss clearly understands that Geralt truly loves only one woman, which is not her, but Yennefer. Yet she can't simply stop loving him, and this is also well shown in the third Witcher game, where Triss is still after Geralt, while understanding that they'd never be together again. Well, probably. As for her magical powers, Triss Merigold is quite an extraordinary caster, and she had even been in King Foltest's council, as well as being a founding member of the Lodge of Sorceresses, which consisted of 12 of the most powerful female magicians from all over the world. By her specialty, Triss is leaning towards being a healer, yet being also exceptionally powerful as a battle mage. It was her who casted the so-called Merigold's Hailstorm over Rivia, which she used in order to stop the riot taking over the city. That spell was of such incredible power that all the rebelling folk were forced to give up on their hatred and flee to take cover. None of the sorcerers could ever repeat such a spell, and that might be also explained by the fact that Merigold's jaw was injured by the time she was casting the spell, and she misspelled some of the words, so new powerful magic came out as a result. Triss, though, ironically, is allergic to magic, so she can't be healed via any magical treatment or elixirs besides using special amulets. However, she, just like all other sorceresses, is fully immune to non-magical diseases, so Triss is not afraid of catching a cold or even a plague, unless that's a magical cold, of course. Triss Merigold was among the sorcerers that fought on the Battle of the Sodden Hill against the onslaught of Nilfgaardian army. She'd been badly injured back then and was considered dead by a mistake, so her name had been engraved on the memorial obelisk. This is why she's sometimes called the 14th of the Hill. In that battle, she's lost her hair and received a scar on her chest, making the magician not to wear any low-neck dresses afterwards. This fact, however, didn't stop game designers from making her wear quite revealing outfits in the Witcher games, never mentioning that scar at all. Well, we don't really mind that, do we? Triss is one of the few sorceresses allowed to freely visit Kaer Morhen, home and shelter of Witchers of the Wolf School. She's always a welcome guest there, yet the Witcher named Lambert always picked on her, calling Merigold, which she always hated, By the way, it was in Kaer Morhen where Triss first met Ciri, who was learning the art of being a witcher back then. Redhead became her mentor for a while and overall related to young Ciri as a younger sister. In the beginning of the first Witcher game, in the same fortress of Kaer Morhen, Triss meets Geralt, who had lost his memory, remembering only that sorceress was once dear to him. Knowing that the White Wolf at least temporarily forgot about his Yennefer, Triss couldn't resist the opportunity of being with him and immediately seduced him. These relationships lasted for until the very last game of the series, when Yennefer finally appears and Witcher decides to reunite with his destiny. All in all, Triss Merigold is quite an important character in both books and game series. In the third game, her role is a bit smaller though, but that's simply because there are loads of other characters, including Yennefer, who is our Witcher's destiny. Let's not forget that. If you want to hear more about other Witcher characters, check out my channel and make sure to subscribe if you want even more stories. I'm doing various lore videos twice a week, and besides that I'm making detailed game reviews of the new PC games from a standpoint of a Russian gamer, giving you both info and unique Russian flavor you won't find anywhere else on YouTube. Thank you for watching, make sure to subscribe. My name has been Styx, from Russia, with love.